Today's tea time topic is Theories of Astrology, Part 1. And I bring this up because a lot of people ask me over the years what my beliefs are about astrology, about where astrology comes from, how it works, does it work? This is a common question. And I realized, I should put it out there and tell you guys what I think. I think I'm so busy reporting the planet sometimes, I forget that we should sometimes talk about the whole premise. And for someone who's new to the topic, I'd love to be your first impression. So this is one of three. I'm going to record 3 of these in a row and because I think it's easier to digest and learn and take little bites between the day. And I hope you enjoy the topic, and I hope it answers a lot of questions you might have about astrology, particularly Western astrology. Now, my argument is that it's kind of an unfair argument. Science has always kind of like spun astrology as some wacko science that believes the planets have an effect on us. And the only thing I say to science is, you don't know our history, okay? Our astrological history of how we got to this point. The truth of the matter is astrology goes way back to Babylon. Our first record of it is in 1700 BCE, before Christ era. So that was a very long time ago, and it looked like that in the records that are written that kings and emperors, rulers basically, were using astrology as a means of signs from the gods. Like this is a sign of something happening, and as another sign of something to happen, and looking as kind of fortune. But then really in Mesopotamia, that's really it got embraced, what we know today as Western astrology, and also what we know as the zodiac signs. Okay, this all came out of ancient Mesopotamia between 1950 and 1651 BCE. And I'm just quoting it because I looked it up, so all you people who are interested can have it. And during this time, this is where the popularized understanding of astrology, and then the Greeks picked up on this later, so this is the source of it. And I have some psychic intuition about it myself. I've also done my own discoveries of it. One thing that one must understand is that that during that time there wasn't a calendar. Okay, human beings looked to the stars to know what time it was. Every night they would know what time of the year it was. So the first thing you need to know is that the zodiac glyphs that you know are simply monthly markers. They're a marker of stars. They were designed to be kind of like so that they could remember it, and it was a way of drawing a sign so that they could remember, oh, it's this time of year, oh, it's that time of year, oh, it's this time of year. Okay, and this has to do with the sign that's rising on the equinox. Okay, so they began to tell time through these different zodiacs, and they also, I think backwards that people don't understand. It's like, it's not that people thought the stars had an influence on the people. It's that when two men maybe were talking about their families and their legacy and whatnot, they would say, Bob, have you ever noticed that every time babies are born under this time of the year, they are warriors, Aries? And that's what they started to notice. They started to notice that certain kinds of people always came up during certain crops, okay? And they were using it to literally when to plant their food and when to plant their crops by the lunar cycle, and they were using the lunar moon on when to plant, but they're also using this bigger year-round system of when to plant their wife pregnant. Okay, so the men would want to get their wives pregnant to bring a certain personality. For instance, if you wanted to have a warrior spirit in Aries, then you must plant the seed in Cancer. Okay, like that will bring a warrior, fighter, child, man, maybe a man. You know what I mean? Like, but if you want a Taurus, then you plant the seed in Leo. And it's interesting because if you know astrology, it's like, oh, so I have to make love in Leo to create a Taurus, or I have to make some saucy love in Cancer to create an Aries. And it tells you with the kind of human planning system. So I believe that, over time, the ancient Mesopotamia, basically, where this all started, and then it passed to the Greeks, they used the different astrological glyphs as little memory things in their head, like drawing stars. Like the stars are all, a big pictogram. Well, just go ahead and draw a shape and recognize that shape every year, every month when it comes up again. It was a simple way of human beings tracking that time of year, and I believe that they were trying to create certain types of human beings, trying to create certain kinds of crops, trying to grow and using all that knowledge. Now they also, it looks like, at that time, noticed the planets, the visible planets that is, and they also noticed that there were these bigger cycles and circles that humanity went through. And I believe, and this was the prediction of hard times, easy times, and whatnot, because from observation, every time Saturn is at that part of the clock, shift happens. We just noticed it. You know what I mean? Like every time. It's not a coincidence. It's almost, to them, was like, you know, it was almost like a clock chiming. And I think that was true too for the ancient Mayans as well. The Mayans, as you know, had their own astrology. In fact, there's Western, there's Vedic. In the next little webisode of astrology, I'm going to talk about the precession of the equinox and explain a little bit of that myth. But I want to begin it with astrological ancient astrology theory. And to me, it was that we knew we wanted to create certain types of children, and we were paying attention to the crops and the years and when to plant all of our seeds, literally and figuratively, right?